Hi everyone, my name is Shawn in case you don't know, and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be doing my July wrap up and haul. I keep telling myself that I'm going to stop requesting NetGalley books and then I'm going to stop buying as many books and go on a book buying ban, but then I just end up buying more books. So I think I bought more books this month than what I read, but let's get into this. Also, if I seem off today, it is because I am off. I've been struggling eating food because it keeps getting stuck in my throat and making me really nauseous, and I'm going to see a GI specialist on the 7th. So I'm actually filming this video before July is over because I keep getting more fatigued and lightheaded as the days go on where I'm not eating very much. So let's just get this out of the way in case for some reason tomorrow or August 1st I am too fatigued or weak to film. Which I know I should be focusing on my health and not filming, but like, you need to do something that brings you joy, and filming brings me joy, so that's what I'm gonna do. So my goals for this month were to get caught up on some NetGalley books, which I sort of did, but not fully, and to finish Twilight. Those are my goals for July. So the first book that I finished reading this month was Twilight. I started it in June, but I didn't finish it until this month. I gave this book 5 stars. I made a whole video on Twilight, and I will link it down in the description below. I am planning on finishing the rest of the series soon, but I've been reading a lot of fantasy books, and I'm sort of craving like a, I don't know, contemporary book or historical fiction, so I'm gonna probably read a different genre first, and then I'll finish the Twilight series. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one, and I love Jasper, Alice, and Jacob. It's such a good book. I know that a lot of people don't like the book, but I like it, so yeah. The next book I read this month was an ebook, and I got it from a giveaway. It was The First Wave by Lana Melian. I won the first 3 books in this series, and this series is like novellas. I gave The First Wave 4 stars. It was a pretty solid read. There was a sentence, I think it was in the first wave, maybe it was in the second one, I don't know, but there was a sentence where one of the girls is like screaming into a park to like get someone's attention or something, and then her friend was like, if that person was here, he would be laughing at you because you look like you're mentally ill. And I was like, that is unacceptable. I don't care why you decided to include that, just know that that's not okay. So I can't give any book in the series 5 stars because of that. It just does not sit right with me. But yeah, I won that in a giveaway, so I got it for free, so I'm really grateful that I got it for free, but that part of the book really did frustrate me, especially since I struggle with mental health issues, and for a while there I struggled with putting the label of mental illness on myself because I felt like that made me a bad person to have mental illness, you know? Next book that I read is a book that this was my 2nd time reading it this year, and that is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. They finished the Harry Potter read aloud recently, and they were basically having different celebrities and at the end families read chapters of the book to read it through. I read this through by myself earlier this year, and then I just read it through using the read alouds. I really enjoyed this book. Of course, I give it 5 stars. This was my 4th time reading it fully all the way through, but when I was younger I listened to the audiobooks out of order, like the discs out of order, because I was a weird child. But yeah, absolutely love this one, but I don't support the author. The next book that I read this month was The Legacy by Lana Melian. This is the 2nd book in that series that I won in a giveaway. The Legacy wasn't as good as the first one, and the reason why is because it relied heavily on dialogue, so it was much slower, and I was like, I wish there would have been a little more action, or even if there wasn't action, a little more description, you know, because I feel like 97% of that book was just dialogue. Like there was barely any sort of movements or descriptions happening, which was a little frustrating to me, but I did as a whole still enjoy it. Oh, and this series by Lana Melian that I'm talking about, to give you a summary of what it's about, because I feel like not a lot of people know about it. It's hard to describe what it's about, but it's sort of about this family of witches, and this girl doesn't have her witch powers yet, but some things happen that set her on this interesting journey, and there's like a brooding guy there. There's a vampire. It's a really good series, although it does have some flaws. The next book that I read this month is a kid's book, and I read The Light of Meridian. This is part of the Witch series. It's the 7th book in the Witch series. I really enjoyed this one, and I gave it 5 stars. I loved the Witch series when I was younger, so it was really nostalgic to read this. In case you don't know, the Witch series is about these 5 girls who have powers. 4 of them have elemental control, and the other one is the leader of the group. The interesting story about why I read this book is because I was planning on doing the reading rush, and I mapped out my TBR, and then I started it a day early because I lost track of what day of the week it was. So yeah, this was supposed to be my first book for the reading rush. But then I epically failed at the reading rush by starting a day early, so I just didn't participate in the reading rush. And then what they did with their like book that they were reading as like a book group, I was like, I'm glad I didn't do the reading rush, and yeah, I'm just a little frustrated at the reading rush. But I'm glad that I finally got around to reading this book because I really enjoyed it. The final 2 books that I read in July were graphic novels. The first one is After the Rain by Nendi Okafor. This is a graphic novel adaptation of one of her short stories. I gave this one 2 out of 5 stars, and I got this one from NetGalley, but that in no way affects my opinion on the book, as you can tell, because I didn't give it a high rating. There wasn't anything super interesting about this story, and at parts I found it confusing and I found it hard to get invested in the story. Also with the arc of the book that I was reading, I don't know if it'll be better when it actually gets printed, but the arc, the font was like grainy and you couldn't really make out the words, so it took me like several hours to read the short graphic novel because I would try and zoom in to see it better, but then it would get more grainy and I couldn't make out the words, but then if I was far away they were also grainy and it was just a mess to read. But I did like one of Nendi Okafor's other books, so I was really disappointed by After the Rain, but maybe her short story version of it would be more interesting because then it wouldn't have the grainy issue. I don't know. I almost forgot, but After the Rain, I don't know how to describe it, but it's sort of like this horror fantasy thing, and I think you should go into it with an open mind if you're gonna read it because it's really short, so I feel like to summarize or like try and put into words what the story is about, I feel like that would spoil the story for everyone. The final book that I read in July is A Gentle Noble's Vacation Recommendation Volume 1 by Momochi. This is the first book in a manga series and I gave it 4 stars. It is really interesting and I will be reading the second volume when it comes out or when it gets uploaded to NetGalley. It's about this guy who ends up in a different world than his own, but it's sort of similar to his world in some sense. And it reminds me a little bit of Maggie and Fairy Tale. I never know if it's Magi or Magi or Maggie. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'll include a picture of the anime somewhere around here. It sort of reminds me of a mix of Fairy Tale and that anime that I can't say the name, because there's like this place where you can get challenges to work on like getting higher in the like group, and yeah, it's a really interesting book. It's hard to describe. I'm really bad at describing what mangas are about, but it was really interesting and I did really enjoy it, and I will be reading the next one. I ship the 2 main characters in that manga so hard. I really hope they end up together in the end because they make such a good couple. And the book that I'm currently reading that I'll hopefully be finishing in the month of August is A Curse of Ash and Embers by Joe Spurrier. I think this book comes out November 3rd, 2020, but according to Goodreads, there were some editions that came out in 2019. I don't know. I'm a little confused about it. I'm gonna have to wait until next month to see my thoughts on A Curse of Ash and Embers, but so far I'm not the hugest fan of it. But it's about this girl who lives with a family, and the family reminds me a little bit of the Dursleys in some sense, and her stepfather isn't very nice to her, and she gets this mysterious letter calling her off to a different place to go work there as like a servant or maid, but she doesn't know where that letter came from and nobody really knows where it came from, but she just is seeing it as a work assignment and a way to get away from her stepfather. And now on to the books that I bought this month, and I think I bought more than I read. So the first book that I got this month is New Moon by Stephanie Meyer. This is the second book in the Twilight series that I'll be reading soon. I got this off of Amazon. I think I had like a gift card or something on Amazon. I forget. I've been trying not to buy off of Amazon as much because I don't want to support Amazon, but I mean I still do a lot. So yeah, I got this one off of Amazon. It was really cheap on Amazon, so that's why I got it on Amazon. And then I got Eclipse, which is the 3rd book in the Twilight series. I got this from Goodwill. I get a lot of my books from Goodwill. I feel like it's an underrated place to look for books, but you can find a lot of good used books at Goodwill, and they're always really, really cheap. And then I got The Short Second Life of Bray Tanner by Stephanie Meyer from Goodwill. So since I have this one, I think the only ones I need now are Breaking Dawn and the new one, Midnight Sun, that's what it's called. I have no clue who Bray Tanner is or what this is going to be about. So this is going to be interesting. It says an Eclipse novella, so I think I'm going to read this after Eclipse, I think. Hopefully that's the right order. The next book that I got, I also got from Goodwill, and that is Mean Girls. And this is by Michael Ostow, I hope I said his name right, and is based on the movie screenplay by Tina Fey. I'm not a huge fan of the movie, but I really like the musical, and I haven't seen the musical yet, but like I'm constantly watching clips and stuff from the musical, and I was gonna see it when I came to Portland, but it's probably not gonna happen because of COVID. I think it was supposed to come in August. But I really hope I can go to Broadway someday to see it because it sounds amazing, and everyone who plays Regina and Karen are like absolute queens. Like I've listened to tons of different versions of Regina and Karen that were in the play, both on tour and on Broadway, and their voices are always just so fantastic, and I think it will just be a great play to see. So I got this book because I like the play, and hopefully it'll be interesting. And this is what it looks like under the cover, and there is a little imprint, but it's hard to show there. I love books with things under the cover, as most of you probably know by now. The final physical book that I got this month is Agnes at the End of the World by Kelly McWilliams. I won this in a giveaway on Twitter, and because I won it in a giveaway, it is signed by Kelly McWilliams, the author, so I'm really excited to read this one. Hopefully I'll get around to reading it soon. I keep forgetting to post on Twitter thanking the author and the people who are working on the giveaway. I suck at that. I literally won a signed Supernatural script and I forgot to post on social media to thank the people that I won it from. But hopefully I'll remember to post about this on Twitter. Yeah, hopefully I'll remember. Hopefully it's not too late, it's awkward. And the book also came with this bookmark and this sticker, and I got 2 of each of these. Since I'm not the greatest at summarizing books, I'm gonna read you the synopsis of the book. On Judgment Day, we shall shelter in the underground temple with food enough for 400 days. Agnes loves her Red Creek home. Its quiet, sunny mornings, its dusty rows, and its God. There, she cares tirelessly for her younger siblings and follows the town's strict laws. What she doesn't know is that Red Creek is a cult, controlled by a madman who calls himself a prophet. Then Agnes meets Danny, an outsider boy, and begins to question what is and isn't a sin. Her brother Ezekiel will die without the insulin she smuggles in once a month, even though medicine is forbidden. Is she a sinner for saving him? Is her sister Beth a sinner for yearning for the world beyond Red Creek? As the prophet grows more dangerous, Agnes realizes she must escape with Ezekiel and leave everyone else, including Beth, behind. But it isn't safe outside either. A viral pandemic is burning through the population at a terrifying rate. As Agnes ventures forth, she forms a mysterious connection with the virus. Will Agnes be able to choose between saving her family and saving the world? This feminist, voice-driven, and genre-defying novel from Kelly McWilliams is a breathtaking story of survival and faith, perfect for fans of The Handmaid's Tale and Wilder Girls. So this book just sounds amazing, and hopefully it will live up to my expectations. Also, this cover is extremely beautiful, and I'm in love with it. I'm not normally a fan of books with people's faces on it, but this one is just so beautiful. I love it. The final books that I got this month were books that I got off of NetGalley, so I got advanced readers copies of them and I got them for free. So I'm not going to be able to give a good description of the books on NetGalley just because I'm just looking at the titles, and also I'm like not sure if I'm supposed to read off of these summaries on NetGalley because I know we aren't allowed to use quotes unless we get confirmed with the publisher or author that the quotes are in the final version of the book, so I don't know if I'm allowed to read the summaries. But the first book that I got is Echo Island by Jared C. Wilson. This is coming out October 20th, 2020. It reminded me of like an apocalyptic type book, and that's why I got it. It sounds really interesting. But it could also be horror, so I don't know if I like it or not, but hopefully I will like it. I'm not sure if I got this one this month or last month, so you may be hearing me say it again. But A Curse of Ash and Embers, which is the book that I'm currently reading by Joe Spurrier, it says that I downloaded it on July 22nd, so I'm going to be including it with this month, even though I might have already shown it in last month's wrap up and haul. I don't know. And then I think I also got After the Rain and A Gentle Noble's Vacation recommendation this month. Not 100% sure. But yeah, that was my haul and my wrap up for this month. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to me if you haven't already. If you want to see immediately when I finish a book what my thoughts are, or if you want to see my progress in books throughout the month, go head over to my Goodreads. I update pretty much daily if I read in the day. Every once in a while I get too fatigued and tired at night to read, but you know, life happens. I hope all of you had a great reading month in July, and I will see all of you in my next video. Bye!